Welcome to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Lachelle Weemy, a peak performance coach and business strategist dedicated to helping you see what's possible within you, the blind spots that are holding you back, and the solutions to ensure success and fulfillment without the hustle. I use my secret sauce of metaphysics, brain science, and scripture to work with God to manifest your ideal life and business. If you're ready to create massive forward momentum in your business and bust through the blocks that drag you down, join me on the Spiral Up journey and create the clarity, confidence, and consistency to become the CEO that lives your life by design. It's time to create the sustainable impact, income, and time freedom you desire faster. Now is the time to spiral up. Hey everybody, welcome to the Spiral Up podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Lachelle Weemy. It is so fun to have you here, and you're in for a special treat today because my business bestie is here with me today. Tiffany Hoeft, you guys, is a productivity expert extraordinaire. Girl, I just love you so much. And I always think that it's kind of fun to get some behind the scenes of things. So you and I met, oh my God, was it 6 years ago? I think that our Facebook timeline at least 6 or 7 years ago. And what's cool about it is that it was, I believe, totally orchestrated by God, because we actually met because you and I were both in network marketing at the time. And we both had a booth at the Pinterest conference in Minneapolis. And I just happened to buy some of your nails stuff. And you just happened to, come on over to my skincare booth. And the two of us became Facebook friends and, casually supported each other online. But I remember that you had pivoted your business. You had left your network marketing and you had decided to go into what you're doing now, which I'm going to have you describe to us in a second. But you reached out and you're like, hey girl, I'm pivoting. And I loved what I was hearing because I was pivoting too. And the two of us reconnected and now you're like my person.
Same.
So tell us a little bit about what it is that you do, Tiffany, because I feel like I couldn't do it justice. Like, you really knock it out of the park.
Well, thanks. So I own Fierce Decorum, and we are an agency that helps mostly creative entrepreneurs scale, grow, set up sustainable systems and processes in their business so that they build a business that supports their life, not the other way around. I think most of us get into entrepreneurship so that we can have freedom of time, freedom of money, flexibility, want to raise a family and do something. But we get into it and we forget how hard it is to build and grow a business. And so we get stuck in the weeds of the behind the scenes stuff. And that's what we try to do, is support our clients with all that back end stuff that they didn't get into business to do. They got into business to do the thing that they love, that they get paid for. Yeah. So they hire us to come in and help them in just be their business bestie in some ways.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, that's what I love about you, is that you keep people in their zone of genius so that they can concentrate on what they're good at, what they love doing, and what brings in the most money. And you help them with all of the back end stuff. And we were talking before we started recording, and you're helping a client right now hire, and you're interviewing all day for, their expanding team. And it's like, oh my gosh, I love brainstorming with you because, as you know, right? Like, I am such a visionary, like, big picture thinker, and you can really scale things down and make things really practical. And so I think the two of us have the secret sauce when we get together for our weekend.
Well, I'm not naturally a big picture thinker. So, like, I need people in my life that will take me out of the weeds and, like, bring me up 10,000 feet.
Yeah, so it's so much fun. We have fun on our business getaways, but man, like, we get a lot done too, and I really thought it would be fun to bring you into this space because I'm really concentrating on serving the mompreneurs this summer to help all of those women out there like me, like you, who are trying our hardest to sustain our business, to possibly even grow our business without knowing that it's going to slide backwards this summer, and be the best mom that we can be and the best wife that we can be. And you and I are both in Minnesota, even though we don't live near each other. Like, we both appreciate the fact that we get like 3 good months of weather. And then it's like, oh my God, I don't want to waste, all of my time working when I can enjoy, the beautiful Minnesota weather in the summertime and be with my kids. And my husband's a teacher, as you know, so he's home and all the things. And I just, I know that you get it. You have 4 kids of your own. and you run this super successful agency. So tell us a little bit about your own experience as a mompreneur in the summer, Tiffany.
Yeah, I think it's hard. I hate the word balance. To me, it's like a 4-letter word because it's really impossible. It's impossible to find true balance where everything is equal. This is just not the reality.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is to find harmony within our seasons. So there are going to be seasons. There's going to be days, weeks, months where I spend more time on my business because I'm trying to scale, or the kids have to be a little bit more self-sufficient. And luckily I don't have babies and infants anymore. So we're out of the weeds of, me needing to be around as much. And now it's like almost flipping the script where the kids don't want me around as much. So it's a weird transition period, but they're still at home. And for me, it's really about looking at each day, each moment, and saying, okay, what do I need to do now? And setting up expectations and boundaries of like where my time needs to go, and being really clear with what do I want, not just today. And I think part of this too is just redefining success, because if my success is tied to revenue, to how many clients I have, to metrics, well, then of course my family's going to go to the side. Where if my success is this summer, I'm measuring success in the moments that I have with my children, on the memories that I make, then obviously I'm going to geared more towards that. So I think there's a few things, like really looking at boundaries, looking at where our time is going, and just being aware, and then really focusing on what do we want to accomplish, and what are our goals, and what are our big visions for not just our business, but also for our family. And then honestly, the other part is giving ourselves grace in a lot of the other areas that aren't maybe super important.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like you and I catch up mostly when we're in the car. Like that's what we talk, because we're both like on the go all the time. And you have 4 kids in sports. I have kids in sports, so we're constantly running them somewhere, right? And I think
professional Uber drivers,
right? I know.
Like new title.
Yeah, and I think people, our kids are not little anymore in the sense that we're not having to chase them around in that sense, but we're having to drive them around everywhere. We want to make sure that we're at the ball games and at the dance recitals and all the things. And so I think that it's really, really powerful what you said about just knowing not only that we have to give ourselves grace, but to be able to redefine our success. Because one of the things that I have done for years is use the analogy of ice skating as what it's like to be a mompreneur, right? Like if I were to try to ice skate, I'm not very coordinated, so this is metaphorically, right? But like if I'm trying to ice skate, I cannot have both of my feet on the ice at the same time, or I'm going to fall over. And so when it comes to ice skating, you have to have one foot down as the other one is up, and then the other one goes down and the other one goes down as in synchrony. And so it's like, in order for me to balance, I have to be able to put my attention on one spot or another when it needs it. But if I spend too much time on any one side, any one leg, I fall over, right? So it's really just that harmony. I love how you said that, of knowing that there are definitely different parts of our life that are going to need attention at different times, and to give ourselves the grace and the flow to get into that. And I love how you talked about just the way that you help your clients with systems and some of that stuff, because I think that that's key. And that's one of the things that I help my clients with as well, is just understanding that in order for us to find balance, in order for us to find, I know you don't like the word balance, in order for us to find the harmony, in order for us to be able to work smarter, not harder, we really do have to leverage some of those behind the scenes systems that are going to help things work on autopilot. Or one of the biggest things, Tiffany, is that I found is that my clients have a hard time making decisions. And decisions priority wise of like, what do I need to work on now versus like what can wait. And when you have systems in place that help you to prioritize, to help you know what needs your attention and what I can like put on some kind of a automation, helps me to work smarter, not harder. And it helps me to actually get out of the conundrum of, I don't know what to do. I don't know, what to prioritize. And it helps everything to kind of work smoother. Tell me a little bit about the processes, the systems, the things that you personally use for yourself and your clients to help you maintain some of that behind the scenes.
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest thing that people don't take into account is the project management piece of like, I have all these things that I have to accomplish, whether you're a service-based provider or product, or you have a brick and mortar, it doesn't matter. It's like you have all these things that are on your plate as the owner, and potentially have a team of people doing stuff too. And it's like, we're just, either using pieces of paper or sticky notes, and we discredit the amount of the impact that like a project management tool can have. There's some great ones out there: ClickUp, Asana, Trello, Monday. My personal favorites, ClickUp. But it's like having a tool that when you sit down in the morning says, this is what you need to do today. So it takes the guesswork out. It takes the having to like, figure out the priorities. It's just telling you. So I think that's a huge one. Like, people just don't think about that, especially when you're early on in your business. You're just like flying by the seat of your pants. And implementing that and taking the time to do that can make a huge impact. And then I think the other piece is managing your clients and managing your leads. This is another thing and that's a direct relation to revenue. So like if you're letting people fall through the cracks because you don't have a good CRM or a sales process tool that you're managing the relationships that you're building and the clients you're trying to land, and you don't have a tool for that, and people fall off or you're not following up, like, I mean, that got drilled in me in my network marketing days, like follow up, the fortune is in the follow up. Like it holds true though. Having a system to manage those people, and even if it's a spreadsheet because you don't have a lot of leads, like that's fine, but just using something.
Great.
You can actually use ClickUp for as a great base CRM too. And so it's just like really looking at those things that are going to make the biggest impact from time and make the biggest impact on revenue, and really making sure you're investing time and energy and resources into building those systems up.
Yes. And that's just it, right? So if I let's just say I decide that I'm going to devote 3 hours a day on my business, and the rest of the time I want to be mom. If you're spending that 3 hours trying to figure out who you need to talk to and what you need to do, you are literally wasting precious time within that 3 hours. So what I want to do is help all of my clients and my listeners know that the more effective and efficient that you can be in the time that you're allotting, you can get more done in 3 hours than you can in an 8-hour day. And now you're just stuck feeling guilty all day long, right? So let's just be really, really intentional. And I'm going to be honest with you, Tiffany, you know this, like I am a creative. I am I would prefer to shoot from the hip, but I've had to learn the skills of discipline and organization in order to be able to maximize my time, to be able to do all the things that I have on my plate. People oftentimes ask me, Lachelle, how do you do all the things that you do? It's because I've had to train myself to become disciplined and organized, even though that's not my natural nature to be that way. And so it's might not seem fun or sexy when you are a creative person like I am to actually sit down in the weeds and plan some of this stuff. But I got to be honest with you, like the more organized that I am, the more productive I am, the better I feel. And Tiffany,
there's science behind it. You're a science geek around. If we try to hold, there's a great book by David Allen called Getting Things Done. And the whole premise is that if we try to hold things into our brain, we do not have the freedom to be creative. So if anybody needs to, and most of us do lean towards the creative side, I think you have to get the stuff out of your head. You cannot try to hold it all in, whether that's brain dumping in the morning, using a task management tool, but that's how you allow the creative juices to flow, is when you can clear your mind and get everything out of there. If you're trying to like not forget stuff, you're not going to be effective and efficient. Yeah. One other tip that's really helped me is, I'm also like, Lachelle and I are cut from the same cloth here. People are like, how the heck do you get all this stuff done? I'm like, I don't know. I just do. But one of the things that I did way when my kids were little, and I was trying to do network marketing and side businesses and all the things, is I would put times on my task list. So like if I knew something was going to take me 5 minutes, and I sorted my so when things are crazy, I do this where I put how long it's going to take me. So then if I'm sitting in the waiting room to get my blood work and I've got 5 minutes, I can just pop up my task list and be like, hey, I can message that one person right now because it's going to take me 5 minutes. So even just like finding different tools and tips that help you be more efficient. And at the end of the day, like, I want to give this caveat, it's not about getting more shit done. It's about doing the things that are going to make an impact on your life, on your family, on your health, on your business. It's like the impactful things, and focusing on those and letting everything else just kind of
Oh my gosh.
Saying no. Oh my gosh. Say no. I am not a PTA mom for a reason. Like, we have to learn how to say no too. We can't be people pleasers and try to.
Oh my God. That's one of the things that I see over and over with my clients, right? Is that, and this is where people, you guys might be listening to this, right? And like, oh my God, yeah, I love all this productivity stuff. I'm not using my time as well. But here's the deal. I want to just pause for a second because Tiffany hit a nerve for me that a lot of people don't realize, right? When you work with me, you're going to get the productivity tools. You're going to figure out ways to work smarter, not harder. But if you have an underlying worthiness wound that needs to be fixed, because that is expressing itself in people pleasing, you're saying yes to things you don't want to do. You are saying yes to things because you're afraid of upsetting people. You're saying yes to things because you have FOMO. Those things are impacting your productivity. And we have to stop for a moment, slow our roll sometimes, and start to heal some of that underlying worthiness piece, that underlying confidence piece, that is what is causing us to lead ourselves into people pleasing, to saying yes out of fear instead of out of love, and to exhibit codependent behaviors because we're feeling the need to be needed versus really prioritizing what is going to make the most impact for the people I serve, for the people in my life. And if I say yes to everybody else, then it means that there are going to be times where I have to say no to myself, and I have to say no to God, and I have to say no to my family because I've allowed my unworthiness to dictate what I'm saying yes to. And so I want you guys to acknowledge that right now, to say like, holy crap, yeah, I am adding way too much to my plate because deep down, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Deep down, I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint somebody. Deep down, I'm afraid that if I don't do all of the things, then I'm not going to make some progress. And you really have to start learning how to trust yourself to say that this is what's right for me now. This is where God wants me to be right now. And the other thing that you mentioned, because, yes, I am a science geek, and you had the opportunity to join me on our last Becoming Experience retreat in Costa Rica. It was amazing. Our next one's coming up in Dominican. I'm just going to plug that because we have one spot left. And we talked a lot about energetics, didn't we? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people don't realize that, like, just like you were saying, as far as getting more done because of the brain science, there's also an energetic quantum physics part of this as well. So the more you are scattered, the more unorganized you are, the more that you allow guilt and, fear and all those things into your space energetically, you are going to drop yourself to lower vibrational scale. And you are going to allow your emotions to bring your vibration down to a place that is away from the life that you want. And so the more that you can be in love, peace, gratitude, joy, freedom, the more your body is going to vibrate at the higher frequencies, the more that those creative ideas, those downloads are going to pop into your head. The people that are meant to be your next dream client are going to come into your sphere of influence. The opportunity that you have been praying for but didn't know how it was going to come to fruition can literally just drop into your life because you're at that space. And so the more that you allow yourself to stay in the frenzy, to stay in the hustle, to stay in the guilt, to stay in the disorganization, energetically and quantum physics wise, you are literally distancing yourself from the life that you want. Mm-hmm. And so there's so much science, Tiffany, behind what it is that you do, that I want people to understand that we can build a life of harmony. We can build a life of joy and gratitude and freedom because we get into some of the things that you've been saying, the grace, the systems, the organization, like, it's all of it.
Well, and the energy isn't even, it is also, it's all of that. And it's also, if we're not on the right path, like if we're not doing this, and this is like personal, I decided to take the summer off of social media because I don't enjoy it. It's a time suck. It's an energy suck. It's just not, I wasn't raised that way. I struggled with it and I was forcing it. And what I realized was I'm forcing this energy that isn't in alignment with where I want to go and what I'm trying to accomplish. And it's not landing. And as soon as it's hilarious, I decided I was going to take the summer off. Within 3 weeks had 4 new clients because my energy shifted because I wasn't trying to force something that wasn't in alignment, right?
Yes.
I was able to go, oh, okay, it's fine.
Yes.
99% of my clients come from word of mouth. They don't come from social media. I can take a break. It's not a big deal. You know, it's like my whole energy shifted just by making that one decision. And so I think we have to be aware too of the things. If we feel like we're forcing something, it's not going to land. If why do used car salesmen like feel so slimy? Well, because they're forcing it, right? We have to sit back. And I think a friend of mine recently told me, she's like, overwhelm is a decision.
Absolutely. Yes.
It's one of those things that I'm like, when I feel spirally, I'm spiraling down, not spiraling up, right? I'm like, oh my God, there's so much. And I'm like, my list never ends. The list is never going to be empty. There's always going to be stuff in the list.
Yes.
When we're feeling that moment, I stop and I say, this is a decision. I can change this right now. I can say, what are the top 3 things? What's the most important thing right now? I've got a 10-year-old who needs my energy right now. Okay, I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to go help her. I'm not going to be frustrated. I'm not going to do this. You know, it's like stopping. And I think this is huge on like self-awareness.
Yes.
You know, and really spending time being self-aware enough to say, this is what I need right now.
Yes.
I need to take a walk. I need to sit down and journal. I need to take a nap. I need some food, whatever it is. And giving yourself that time and not trying to just push through, because there's also science in how just doing that causes so many health problems. And I'm on now the end of that where my body is starting to shut down, because for years I either shoved it down or just kept going, even though my body was screaming at me, you need to rest, you need to stop,
Yes. And that's just it. Like, that's one of the things that I love teaching people is how to tap into their inner guidance, allowing God to help us to know what is the next priority. I mean, you know this, I schedule a nap every day. And you know what? I am freaking productive as heck because I have my phone next to me and I have massive downloads while I'm sitting there in that almost asleep state. And all of a sudden I'll like grab my phone and I'll start jot down like the downloads, the new ideas, which actually is how one of our big passion projects is coming up was birth, right? It's like, I literally was like laying down for a nap. And then I wrote this down, and after the nap, I was like, Tiffany, I have this idea. We got to do this together. So you guys, literally, we have a really, really, really fun project coming up. And I'm not going to announce it quite yet, but I want you to just stay tuned because I don't know, it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
Let's just say that it's for the fellow moms out there and you're not going to want to miss it. So you said something about just knowing what to do. I'm just going to ask you really quickly, because I think that a lot of people really struggle with this, is the priority piece. How do I know? Because you said, okay, what are the 3 things? Like, how do you know, Tiffany, what we should be prioritizing our time with? Because I don't want people to get stuck in an either or mindset where it's either I'm going balls to the walls with my business, or I'm 100% setting everything aside and just being mom. Because the reality is that we have this harmony. We are ice skating. If we spend too much time on one leg, we're going to fall over. So how do you prioritize where you integrate the priorities of yourself, your body, your family, and your business?
Yeah, I think a huge thing is focusing on those money-making activities, the relationship building piece, because that's always going to lead to something, right? So loving on my clients, giving them the best of me, but then also giving the best of to my family. But if signing up for every single networking event right now, I decided I'm not doing that in the summer. I'm not signing up for extra events. I'm doing the things that I've already committed to, or they're programs that I'm a part of, showing up for those things. But if it's just like, hey, let's go to this coffee chat. Nope. Sorry, don't have time. You know what I mean? So it's like really being clear on, again, the priorities and the season that you're in. And that's not forever. It's just until the kids go back to school. Then I can start doing those again because I love them.
Yeah.
And I think for me too is time blocking. But time blocking, everybody says time blocking, and I'm like, sometimes it doesn't land with people.
Yeah.
My time blocking is usually like theme day related.
Me too.
Like, I don't necessarily sit down and block every 20 minutes. I'm going to do this.
Right.
It's like, I try to do Mondays and Tuesdays heavy on client calls. So I can check in with the team, check in with the clients, make sure we know what needs to happen for the week. Wednesdays and Thursdays, are either project based. So if I have like big projects I need to work on, or I get to work those days, like minimal calls, maybe a team member check-in if we need clarity around something, but like minimal calls, heavy down. And then Friday's more admin because I'm tired. Like I don't want to talk to as many people on Friday, like, or maybe I meet someone in person for coffee in the morning.
Yep.
It's a sales meeting and they want to meet in person. Great. Friday morning, because then I've gotten all my other stuff done, or maybe I'll write a blog on a Friday, or, just like sit and think about role planning or whatever, the more fun stuff. But it's like me just even guarding those days out has allowed me to now know, okay, I know Mondays and Tuesdays are going to be super busy, back-to-back meetings. So I need to account for that. And then Wednesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to have a little bit more breath to get the things done. And I do the same thing with my house, especially when my kids were little. I would have like kitchen day. Set the timer for an hour. I'm going to clean out the fridge this week. Then I'll do the pantry next week. And I just gave myself that hour, right? Yeah. And that allowed me the freedom to, on a Friday, if I got a wild hair, because I like to organize, to empty out the pantry, I'd be like, nope, going to do that on Monday, right? And so it just gave me that time. And then we had bathroom days and sheet days and whatever throughout the week. I mean, now I have kids and teenagers that can do a lot of that stuff. So now I pay them to do that. But
that's smart.
It's just like being conscious of and kind of bucketing out your time so that you're not always just, you get an idea and you're like, I'm going to go do that right now. Well, is now the best time to do that? And I think one of the best tools that I make all my clients go through when we're trying to maximize their schedule and their schedule's been crazy is like, I want you to write down everything you do for 3 days.
Yep. I do the
same.
You
are going to see all of the times you got squirreled into stuff.
Totally. Yeah.
Not have priorities.
It's painful. You're nicer than I am. I make them do it for 7, but I'm like, it is painful because if you're like, oh my God, every 15 minutes, but like you start to see where you're wasting time. And again, we can get as much done in 3 hours as we can in 8 if you're more efficient and effective with your time. And I want to just point that out, you guys, is that I want to reiterate what she said. If you are only able to devote a few hours a day in your schedule for your business this summer, I want you to prioritize what is going to be making you money. Money is energy. Money is an exchange of services perceived, right? Given and perceived. And so when you are focusing your time on serving people and bringing in to your sphere of influence people that could be future clients, you're going to be way more productive. And I've read this book. It's called The Prosperous Coach. And he talks about your day should be completely taken up with serving clients and creating clients, which means, connection calls and just like whatever you're doing to bring what you do and your secret sauce into awareness. The rest of it is busy work sometimes, guys. So we have to acknowledge like, where can your priority be? And then I also love I do the same thing. Like Mondays are my CEO days. Tuesdays and Thursdays are my client days. Wednesdays are my days where I like network and connect and have, sales calls. Fridays I take off. And so when I think about that, like my human design as a generator is like, I get into flow. And I allow myself to be more efficient and effective rather than piecemealing my stuff. And so human design is such a great, way to incorporate that too. And I know that you do the same. And so, oh my gosh, like we could talk all day, which is why we have this project coming up, because we'll get to talk more. But I want to ask you, is there anything else that you wanted to impart to our listeners today on all the things that we have to do as a mompreneur?
I think just to remember the things that when you're 80 aren't going to matter. Are your kids going to remember if the floor was clean? Like, and I'm like a crazy psycho person when it comes to like, we have people coming over, like everybody needs to clean the house. Like all those videos of people making us like we're traveling, like, oh, we can't forget anything, like it's just, I'm a detail person. It's just in my nature.
Yeah.
I have to remember, like, nobody is going to care about this, right? That my biggest impact is in raising my children, having a fantastic marriage, and how I love on my clients and how I support them. So those are the only things that matter. The fact that there's an Amazon box that still needs to be broken down in my office on the floor, or the kids left all the markers out last night, who cares, right? And even last night, I could have cleaned. I played cards with my 14-year-old, right? And so it's like finding those moments that you can kind of let the chaos around you dissipate and really focus on the memories, the moments, yeah. I mean, my oldest, I have 2 summers left. So I like, it's feeling a little bit more real now. Yeah. And 11 years we're empty nesters, which is going to go by like that.
Oh my God. Right. I know my oldest got his first job this summer and I'm like, oh, you're not around all day long. Like it's crazy, guys. So I love that. That is literally like goosebumpy advice. So I thank you for the reminder to me and all of the people who are listening. You guys, if you are like, oh my gosh, I need to figure out how to get my shit together so that I can concentrate on what I'm good at, what I love, and I need somebody to help me do all of this stuff, please look at all of the amazing details inside of the show notes that allow you to connect with Tiffany. She's one of our Spiral Up experts. So my clients get a chance to learn from her inside of our program. And I'm just so honored to have you as one of our experts. I get to connect my clients with you. And it's such a gift to have you in my life, girl. I love you and adore you so much. All right, you guys, if you are like, oh my gosh, yes, I need to be able to manage my frenzy. Yes, I am so ready to just have flow and be able to create sustainable 10K months without all of the hustle, without all of the stress, without all of the burnout, without all of the freaking overthinking. I want you to make sure that you go into the show notes and grab all of the details for the masterclass that I have coming up that's going to teach you my absolute golden best ways to be able to do that. So do not miss that opportunity. And I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
So much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Each honest review helps me spiral up so that I can serve you even better. Whether you're feeling a lack of impact, income, or time freedom, or perhaps you're just ready for massive momentum in your business, let's chat. Apply for a breakthrough call so that you can gain clarity, identify what's holding you back, and make a plan to spiral up. Head on over to iam-lifebydesign.com/breakthrough. or access the link in the show notes. For immediate support, plug into our community, the Better Club. We focus on inspiration, tactical guidance, and support. This is a community that wants to be better, do better, and have better in life and in business, and we're going to help you do the same. Let's spiral up, friends.